It basically took the sound of a single synthesizer to make me grin like a mouth breather at the realization of just how much I miss this show. The music is perfect and perfectly fitting and atmospheric. The implementation of the soundtrack, of course consisting of the revived Kate Bush track Running Up That Hill, is expertly and artistically done, primarily in regards to referring to the Kate Bush track specifically, its particular placement, and its great importance in Max's story. I really dig the connections to previous seasons. The show has always been serialized, but season 4 in particular has really made a deal of revisiting and incorporating storylines from each of the past 3 seasons in interesting and organic fashion, while delving into the mythology and origins of certain elements that have been present since the very beginning of the series. It makes the 4 seasons of the show feel less like individual entities and more like 4 chapters of one big story that is nearing its end. The visuals are outstanding. Vecna looks incredible and incredibly creepy. The practicality of the look is much appreciated and more effective than if the character had solely been created in a computer. And Vecna's method of murdering is so entertainingly disturbing. Those body horror elements are certainly a highlight of the season. The grandfather clock imagery is super cool and intriguing and unique. And the Duffer Brothers' direction is as slick and cinematic as ever. Though Stranger Things would simply not be Stranger Things without its hearty collection of fantastic characters who are played by a magnificent group of actors. The standouts of the season thus far being Sadie Sink, Millie Bobby Brown, Natalia Dyer, and David Harbour, whose characters, along with the badass Joyce Byers, are essentially the pillars of this season's narrative. Sadie Sink really gets a chance to shine this season as Max is at the center of this story. Sink plays Max with a ton of depth as the character is forced to deal with feelings of isolation, grief, fear, though Sink is still able to inject a great energy with her humor and sarcasm. Millie Bobby Brown's Eleven has always been the heart of this show, its core, its foundation, and she continues to be immaculate in this role. She can convey such deep and clear emotion without saying a single word. David Harbour gives us the most vulnerable rendition of Hopper that we've seen, while Nancy Wheeler continues to be this unfathomably courageous presence. Natalia Dyer brings so much humanity to Nancy, with whom we, the viewer, have endured such difficult times at this point. But this is very much an ensemble show, filled with a lot more great characters than the mere 4 I just mentioned. Murray is hilarious, and now a badass with his black belt. Joe Keery and Maya Hawke are simply amazing. They both exude charm and charisma, and collectively they have electric chemistry, as does the entirety of the cast. A couple of my favorite new characters, Eddie Munson and Victor Creel. Eddie brings in a really interesting energy and adds a fresh dynamic to the group. Robert Englund's mere presence is brilliant, obviously due to the fact that he portrayed one of the most iconic characters in horror cinema, not to mention there are a number of Nightmare on Elm Street-esque moments this season. But besides that, Englund gives this excellent tortured performance as Victor Creel. The twist at season's end involving Vecna/Henry/1 was phenomenal and perfectly executed. This reveal added a great amount of cohesion to this volume, as it took 3 seemingly separate plot lines, Vecna's hunt, the story of the Creel family, and Eleven's quest to regain her powers, and reveals that they have actually been one inextricable story. I dug the satanic panic component of the season. It was very cleverly implemented and really raises the stakes for the characters of Lucas, Dustin, and primarily Eddie, as Jason believes the head of the Hellfire Club to be Satan's vessel. Now, before I depart to finally watch the newly released Volume 2, I just wanted to discuss the length of these episodes. The extended length didn't bother me in the slightest. In fact, it didn't factor into my viewing experience whatsoever. In this day and age, episodes on television and streaming come in a variety of durations, in seasons that range from 4 to 24 episodes in quantity. So I no longer have specific expectations in that regard. I was engrossed throughout the entirety of Volume 1, and given that Stranger Things is nearing its end, I want as much story as I can possibly get from these Duffer Brothers.